Okay, imagine a world, think back, where your favorite TV show, the news you read, all your music, your games, they were all totally separate things, right? Designed, delivered by completely different industries,
Yeah.
never talking to each other.
Sounds almost impossible now, doesn't it? Ancient history.
Totally ancient. But, I mean, that wasn't that long ago. That was real.
And now?
Now, the lines aren't just blurred. They're gone. Invisible.
Yeah.
So how did we even get here? What changed everything? And maybe more importantly, what does it take now to, actually build a business in this converged world?
That really is the core question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's huge because e-commerce, it doesn't just magically appear.
Right.
It's engineered, properly engineered from the bottom up. You've got the business models, the cybersecurity. Oh, it's complex.
Yeah.
The whole digital economy, it runs on solid strategy, robust systems, and, well, people who really know how to build and run these things. So in this deep dive, we're really going to peel back the layers, look at the technical side, the business side
of actually creating and operating these e-businesses, especially focusing on online content and media, because that space is incredibly dynamic, always changing.
Absolutely. And before we really jump into all those fascinating details, just a quick heads up. If you're looking to really get a handle on the systems behind the screen, maybe position yourself for a great career. Definitely hit like, subscribe, share this deep dive. You don't want to miss the insights we're sharing.
Good point. And check the description, too. We'll link to some extra resources there that you might find really valuable on your journey.
Perfect.
So, yeah, today our mission is really diving into Chapter 10 of Loudon and Travers' e-commerce 2023 text, The Focus. Online content and media. We'll explore these huge shifts, media convergence, dissect the revenue models. How does anyone make money? We'll look at the creator economy explosion.
That's a big one.
Huge. And the management strategies you absolutely need to thrive. This is really geared for you, the learner. Maybe you're in BCIS 5379 at Tarleton State, working on that e-business proposal.
Or maybe you're just really curious about how this whole digital economy actually works under the hood.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this media industry first.
Yeah.
What makes it so unique compared to other industries, I mean? And why is it getting disrupted so radically right now? Is it just tech speed, or is it something deeper?
That's a great starting point because, lots of industries face digital disruption, but media, its transformation is just uniquely fast, really accelerated.
Why, though?
Well, it seems to boil down to two big interconnected forces, digitalization, everything going digital, and ongoing deregulation. These aren't just tweaks, they flip the whole competitive landscape.
Okay.
Traditional media companies are now scrambling to compete with these nimble, internet-first firms, and it's forcing them to totally rethink business models they've relied on for decades.
So what makes media itself so different, the product?
Exactly. Its very essence is creative and artistic output. Think about it. You're not just stamping out identical products, a hit song, a gripping movie, a big news scoop, an addictive game. It comes from human imagination, creativity, skill. That means media businesses are fundamentally managing talent and intellectual property, which is often protected by copyright.
That makes sense. It's not like managing a supply chain for, car parts.
Not at all. Think about the fights over music rights or the value of a reporter's exclusive story. It's about nurturing unique human creativity, and the business model has to account for that fragility and potentially immense value.
So it's the creative core. And then once it's out there, it feels like media gets way more public attention than, say, a new brand of toothpaste.
Absolutely. That's the second unique thing. Incredibly high public visibility. Media is woven into our daily lives, isn't it?
Totally. Morning news, evening shows.
Exactly. We consume it, we talk about it, we critique it constantly. So these companies are always in the spotlight, subject to intense public opinion, even emotional attachment from consumers. Everyone has a take.
Which probably links to the next point, regulation.
Directly. This high visibility connects to the third trait. Media is heavily influenced by public policy and regulations because of its cultural, political, social impact.
Like News in a Democracy or Kids TV.
Precisely. Governments often regulate media more closely than almost any other sector. They operate using public resources sometimes, like the broadcast spectrum. So there's this extra layer of regulatory complexity, ethical considerations. You're not just selling stuff, you're shaping discourse.
Shaping discourse. That's a heavy responsibility. You also mentioned a big internal shift, the line blurring between the creative side and the business side.
Yeah, and this fourth characteristic is crucial for understanding e-business and media today. Historically, you had a pretty clear wall. Think of a newspaper. Editorial was separate from advertising sales.
Church and state, they called it.
Right, the creative and the commercial. But with intense competition, shrinking margins, especially in print, and the absolute need to make money from digital content, that wall has crumbled.
So writers need to understand clicks now, and managers need to understand creativity.
Pretty much. Content creators are way more involved in understanding business metrics, performance data, and business managers need a much deeper grasp of the creative process, the value of IP. It changes everything, staffing, strategy, everything.
Okay, so for someone studying this, say in our BCIS course, what's the big takeaway from these unique traits?
The big takeaway for you is that because of these characteristics, managing an e-business and media, creating content, figuring out revenue, it requires a fundamentally different playbook than, say, running a standard online retail store.
Got it.
You're dealing with creativity, public scrutiny, regulations, and this blurry line between content and commerce. Understanding these nuances is vital, especially when you're thinking about the operational side, the legal side, and developing a media content strategy that actually has a chance of working.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly. Now, this term convergence, it gets thrown around constantly. What does it actually mean for media and tech? Is it just everything going digital, or is it more complex? Why is it so key for e-business?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just going digital, although that's the bedrock, the enabler. Convergence is this powerful, ongoing trend where technology, content, and even entire industries start to blend together, erasing those old boundaries we just discussed.
Blending together.
How? It's described as a co-evolutionary process, meaning it's not just one thing causing it. It's this complex interplay between tech innovations, corporate strategies, political or legal changes, and importantly, huge shifts in how we, the audience, actually consume media.
So like a dance between tech, business, policy, and us.
That's a great way to put it. A complex dance where everything influences everything else, constantly adapting.
All right, so break down this dance for us. What are the main moves, the dimensions of convergence?
Okay, we can usually talk about three core dimensions. They kind of build on each other. First, and maybe most obvious, is technological convergence.
Like my phone doing everything.
Exactly like your phone or your tablet, your smart TV. These hybrid devices that can deliver all sorts of media, video, audio, text, games through one single platform.
How does that work technically?
The magic is really having a universal digital code, like binary and common internet protocols, especially IP, the internet protocol. Everything starts speaking the same language, so content isn't locked to one specific delivery pipe anymore.
Makes sense. My iPad is the perfect example. Read a book, watch a movie, listen to music, play a game, one device. I used to need like 4 different things.
Right. Latzer called it a digital modular construction system. It gives incredible flexibility and, really importantly for business, much lower costs compared to old analog tech.
And you mentioned history there, telematics, mediamatics.
Yeah, just briefly, it shows the progression. Late 20th century, you saw telecommunications merge with informatics computers to get telematics. Then, early 21st, telematics met electronic media, giving us mediamatics. Basically, computing power connecting industries that were once totally separate. This tech convergence is the foundation for modern e-business platforms.
Okay, so the devices got smarter and everything talks the same language. But what about the content itself? Does it change when it lives on these converged devices? Does it affect how stories are told?
It absolutely does. And that leads straight into the second dimension, content convergence. This is all about how content design, production, and distribution become fundamentally different because creators have new tools and need new skills for multi-platform delivery.
So it's not just putting a print article online.
No, not anymore. It's about crafting experiences that can adapt or even expand across formats. Think about a modern ebook.
Like with videos embedded or links?
Exactly. Interactive elements, embedded videos, links to online discussions, author Q&As. It goes from being a static thing to a dynamic digital experience. Loudon and Traver have a great figure showing this for books.
And transmedia storytelling.
That's another great example, where a story unfolds across different platforms, maybe a movie, a web series, a game, and each part adds something unique to the whole narrative. Understanding this is key for developing a really effective media content strategy for your e-business. You're creating worlds, not just products.
Wow. Okay, so the tech enables it, the content adapts.
Yeah.
This must be shaking up the actual companies too, right? Are they starting to look different?
Merging.
Spot on. That brings us to the third and maybe biggest picture dimension, industry structure convergence. This is where you see these diverse companies, tech, media, telecom, merging into huge, powerful, often synergistic combinations.
Synergistic meaning they work together better.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
They can cross-market content across all their platforms, control more of the creation to consumption pipeline. We often talk about the TMT sectors, technology, media, telecommunications coming together. These used to be very distinct industries.
Like Amazon starting in books online, but now they make movies and stream them. Or Apple moving from computers to music to phones to TV. Perfect examples. Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix. They started in one area and expanded massively into media production, distribution, even telecommunications hardware and services. This is where you get concepts like triple play.
Phone, TV, internet, all from one company.
Exactly. Or even quadruple play if they throw in mobile. They want to capture more of your total media spending and attention by offering this seamless bundled experience. It also touches on supply chain ideas. They're building their own internal content supply chains.
So pulling it all together, technological, content, industry convergence.
Yeah.
Why is grasping all these layers so absolutely critical for, say, a business student trying to figure out e-commerce?
Because understanding these layers is fundamental. It's the lens you need to spot market opportunities, predict shifts in consumer habits, and ultimately design e-commerce business models that are robust enough to actually work in this incredibly dynamic environment. It directly connects to understanding media consumption trends, developing content strategies. If you don't see these convergence forces, you're basically operating with an old map. And in this territory, an old map is dangerous.
Okay, that makes total sense. Let's talk about those consumer habits then. This is where it gets really interesting for anyone trying to sell anything, right? How are people, especially younger generations like Gen Z, actually consuming media now? Is it just what they watch, or is the how totally different?
It's definitely the how that's revolutionary, and yeah, it has huge implications. Get this. The average American consumes something like 4,800 hours of media a year.
Wow, that's a lot of hours.
It's massive. But here's the real kicker. That total amount of time isn't really growing much. People only have so many hours in a day.
So it's a fight for a slice of the pie.
Exactly. A zero-sum game. Every platform, every creator, every e-business is battling for a share of that fixed attention span. And Gen Z, they are absolutely leading the charge in changing how that battle is fought and won.
Gen Z, born roughly 1997 to 2010. Advertisers love them, right? Why are they so important, and what are the big shifts we see in how they engage?
Advertisers are obsessed with them, and for good reason. Their habits often predict where the whole market is going. Deloitte's research shows some really stark preferences. Gen Z is moving decisively away from traditional pay TV.
Cord cutting.
Big time. Moving towards streaming video on demand, so SVOD like Netflix. But also massively towards social video platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and gaming. It's a complete restructuring of their media diet.
And how they spend their time reflects that.
Dramatically. Gen Z spends 54% more time on social platforms and user-generated content, UGC, than the average consumer. And conversely, 26% less time watching traditional TV and movies. That's not a small shift. It's a massive reallocation of attention, which tells you where marketing needs to be.
And it feels like they find more connection there, too, more relevance than just watching a TV show.
You nailed it. A stunning 56% of Gen Z and also 43% of millennials find social media content more relevant to their lives than traditional TV shows and movies.
More relevant.
Wow. And it's tied to connection. About half of Gen Z and millennials feel a stronger personal connection to social media creators than they do to traditional TV stars or movie actors.
This is huge for influence, right?
Absolutely huge. That level of perceived intimacy and authenticity changes everything for marketing. For an e-business, finding creators who resonate with your audience offers a direct, highly engaged channel. That's gold for developing an effective e-business marketing strategy.
That creator connection, it feels like a loyalty that old media rarely achieved. But, okay, even with all these choices, are people actually spending more money on entertainment? Or is it hitting a ceiling? You mentioned the fixed time pie. Is there a fixed wallet pie, too?
That's the other major challenge, the fixed spending problem. And every e-business needs to pay close attention here. Consumers aren't necessarily spending more overall on media subscriptions.
Subscription fatigue. I hear that a lot.
It's very real. People are feeling overwhelmed managing multiple subscriptions, especially as prices keep creeping up. And Deloitte's research confirms this. It's pushing households to maybe prioritize essentials over discretionary entertainment. Too much choice can become a burden.
I feel that. Looking at my credit card bill with 5 streaming services,
Yeah.
you start asking, do I need all these? Is that common?
Extremely common. And it's a nightmare for providers because it leads to high churn rates, people canceling. Deloitte found 39% of consumers canceled at least one SVOD service in the last 6 months.
Wow, 39%.
And for Gen Z and millennials, it jumps to over 50%. They are actively managing subscriptions, jumping in and out based on what content is available.
Okay, so for a business student listening, what's the big practical lesson from these changing habits and spending patterns?
The huge practical takeaway is this. Understanding these demographic shifts, these consumption patterns, is absolutely paramount for your e-business marketing strategy. You have to know where your audience spends their time and their money.
Oh, they are.
Exactly. If your audience, especially younger demos, is primarily on social platforms, engaging with creators, then that's where your marketing efforts need to be focused. It's likely more effective, better ROI than pouring money into traditional channels they're tuning out. You have to recognize these trends in media consumption to pick the right marketing strategies.
Got it. Meet them where they live online. Okay, let's pivot to revenue. The internet trained us to expect free content, right? So how do online businesses actually convince people to pay? That feels like the core struggle.
It is one of the fundamental challenges in this whole space. How do you achieve profitability when the expectation is often free? It's incredibly tough.
So what's the secret?
There's no single secret, but the core principle is creating high perceived value. The content needs to feel worth paying for. It needs to be delivered uniquely online, maybe in a way you can't get elsewhere. And companies need to constantly innovate with new products and delivery tech to justify that price tag. This directly relates to understanding the major types of e-commerce business models.
Okay, so what are the main models companies use to try and deliver that value and get paid?
Loudon and Traver outline 3 primary revenue models we see everywhere. First, the subscription model.
Netflix, Spotify.
Exactly. The all-you-can-eat buffet. You pay a recurring fee monthly or yearly for unlimited access to a huge library. The value, convenience, breadth of choice, it locks users in.
Okay, number 2.
Second is the a la carte model. Pay per item. You buy exactly what you want when you want it.
Like buying a single song on iTunes back in the day.
Yeah.
Or renting a movie on Amazon Prime Video.
Precisely. Buying a movie is electronic sell-through, EST. Renting it is internet video on demand, IV'd. This works best for content with high individual value, a new blockbuster, a specific album. You get granular control.
And the third main one.
Third is advertising-supported freemium. The basic content is free, funded by ads.
Like YouTube. Or news sites that give you a few free articles.
Exactly. Many news sites use that metered approach, free articles, then a paywall. YouTube is the classic example. Often there's a freemium option. Upgrade to pay a fee and get rid of the ads, or get extra features. This model builds a big audience with the free tier, then monetizes the most engaged users or through ads.
I remember digital rights management, DRM, being such a huge fight, especially with music. Locking things down, is that still a big factor, or did consumers win that battle?
DRM, yeah, that was a hot topic. Those technologies controlling access to copyrighted stuff, they were everywhere on early iTunes Music, but honestly, users hated it.
Yeah, it felt restrictive.
Totally. And platforms like Amazon MP3 started offering DRM-free music, which put huge pressure on Apple. So for music, DRM is largely gone. It created a bad user experience and wasn't even that effective against piracy.
But companies still want to control their content, right? So what replaced DRM?
The idea of control didn't vanish, it just morphed. Now we talk more about walled gardens.
Walled gardens sounds a bit confining.
It can feel that way for users, yeah. But for companies, it's a really powerful strategy. A walled garden is a closed ecosystem where the company controls everything. The hardware, the operating system, the app store, the content formats, even the payments.
Like Apple's world. iPhone, iOS, App Store, Apple Music. Or Amazon with Kindle.
Those are the quintessential examples. The benefit for them is massive control over the user experience, tighter security for their content, and crucially, they capture more of your spending within their ecosystem.
Because it's hard to leave once you're invested.
Exactly. It creates huge customer loyalty or maybe dependency. But the trade-off for the consumer is less freedom, less interoperability between systems. It's a fundamental strategic choice that defines some of the biggest players, and it's key when you evaluate different hardware and software e-business platforms.
So these models, subscription, a la carte, ads, and strategies like walled gardens, they really shape how businesses try to make money, each with pros and cons.
Precisely. For you, understanding these is foundational. They're the core revenue generation methods. And critically, each one demands different strategies for content, distribution, marketing. When you're asked to select appropriate e-commerce business models or analyze their components, these revenue approaches are where you have to start.
Okay, let's apply this. Print media, newspapers, magazines, books, they were the giants, right? But they got hit hard by digital. How did newspapers specifically even survive that onslaught? They seemed doomed for a while.
Oh, they absolutely seem doomed. And it forced this period of really radical, often painful adaptation. Newspapers faced the most immediate existential threat.
How bad was it?
Really bad. Print circulation just plummeted. Between 2008 and 2018, weekday circulation dropped 12%, Sunday 10%.
Yeah.
But print ad revenue, that fell off a cliff, down 62% in that decade alone.
Wow, 62%.
Yeah, it was a gusher, not a leak. Because online news offered immediacy, interaction, depth. Print couldn't compete on speed. News became a commodity people expected instantly and usually for free.
So how did these institutions built on ink and paper try to rebuild themselves online? What did their digital business models look like over time?
It was an evolution, often driven by desperation. Phase 1, roughly 1995-2000, was print-centric. They basically just put their print content online for free and prayed that online ads would somehow cover it.
Which didn't work.
Largely failed, yeah. Phase 2, 2000-2010, was integrated print web, trying to bridge the gap, but digital was still mostly an afterthought.
Okay.
But since 2010, the dominant philosophy has become digital first, prioritizing digital content, digital audience, and digital revenue. It's a total mindset shift.
And how are they trying to make money now with this digital-first approach?
They've thrown a lot at the wall to see what sticks. Initially, maybe free content if you registered. Now, the most common model used by about 72% of U.S. papers is the metered subscription.
Like the New York Times. You get a few free articles then.
Yeah.
Bam, paywall.
Exactly like the Times, which made it work really well. Others use premium content paywalls. Most stuff is free, but you pay for exclusive analysis or deep dives. Or you have the hard paywall, like the Wall Street Journal, where you get basically nothing without paying.
Are subscriptions enough?
Often not on their own. So they're aggressively looking at alternative streams, hosting events, creating sponsored content, launching membership programs to build community and get direct support. Diversification is key.
What about purely digital news sites, the ones born online? Do they have big advantages over the old guard trying to transition?
They absolutely do. The most obvious is a much lower cost structure. No printing presses, no delivery trucks. That allows for more efficiency.
And speed?
Definitely. Timelier updates, crucial for news. They can also fully leverage new tech from day one. Multimedia, podcasts, interactive graphics. Many also rely more on user-generated content or have more flexible staffing, making them more agile. Think about Vox, which built its journalism model around digital from the start.
But it can't be all smooth sailing, even for digital natives, right? What are the big challenges everyone in the online news space faces?
No, it's still incredibly tough. Competition is insane from other news sites, blogs, social media feeds acting as aggregators. Everyone's fighting for eyeballs.
In trust.
Huge issue. Investing in the tech and the constant retraining needed for a digital newsroom is expensive. The pressure of the 24/7 news cycle, the chase for clicks, can sadly lead to sensationalism over substance sometimes. And then there's the massive problem of fake news and disinformation, which erodes trust in all media and makes it harder for quality journalism to get paid.
Are there success stories people can look at?
Definitely. The New York Times is a prime example of succeeding through massive, sustained investment in digital talent and tech. The Guardian has built a strong model around reader membership supporting independent journalism.
And you mentioned Substack. How does that fit in?
Yeah, the video case on Substack is interesting. It represents a different path, individual writers publishing directly to paid subscribers. The idea is to bypass traditional media gatekeepers and potentially the ad-driven pressures that can lead to polarization. It incentivizes value to the reader over just grabbing attention, a different e-commerce model for news.
Okay, so newspapers, a tough fight, ongoing adaptation. What about magazines and books? Did they follow the same path, or was their digital journey different?
A bit different, actually. Magazines, ironically, were declared dead by many pundits years ago.
Oh, I remember that.
But they've shown surprising resilience, especially on digital platforms. Tablets, in particular, gave them a new lease on life.
How so?
Tablets and aggregator apps like Apple News Plus could replicate and even enhance the visual, glossy experience of a print magazine. Embedded videos, interactive ads, it made digital editions appealing to readers and advertisers alike.
And books. Ebooks seem like a huge success story.
They really have been. Ebook versions of fiction, nonfiction, incredibly popular. And interestingly, overall book publishing revenues have remained pretty stable through this transition.
Dominated by Amazon, though.
Largely, yes. Amazon's Kindle platform was the game changer. It didn't just popularize ebooks, it fueled the rise of self-publishing, letting authors bypass traditional publishers entirely and reach readers directly. A major disruption.
Wasn't there a big legal fight over ebook pricing involving Amazon, Apple, and the major publishers?
Yeah.
That seemed really significant.
Oh yeah, that was a landmark case. Really exposed the power dynamics. Initially, publishers used a wholesale model, sell books to retailers like Amazon at a set price, and the retailer decides the selling price.
And Amazon was selling them super cheap, right? Below cost sometimes.
Exactly. To drive Kindle sales and grab market share. Publishers freaked out, worried Amazon was devaluing books. So they conspired with Apple, who is launching its iBook store, to force Amazon onto an agency model.
Agency model meaning?
Meaning the publisher sets the consumer price, and the retailer, Apple, Amazon, just takes a commission, usually around 30%. It gave publishers control back.
But wasn't that price fixing?
That's exactly what the Department of Justice argued. They sued the publishers and Apple for colluding to raise prices. Most publishers settled. Apple fought it and lost, paying a hefty fine. Now, pricing is negotiated, often still using agency terms, but that battle reshaped the entire ebook market.
Wow. So pulling this section on publishing together, what's the key lesson for someone trying to develop a media content strategy?
The big lesson for you is that content strategy and revenue models have to be incredibly adaptive and platform-specific. What works for a newspaper's metered paywall is totally different from what works for an ebook or a digital magazine.
No one size fits all.
Absolutely not. You have to analyze the specific platform, the audience expectations, the nature of the content itself. This directly hits that skills outcome. Develop a media content strategy. It's about understanding these nuances and making informed choices for your specific e-business situation.
Okay, great insights. Let's switch gears to pure entertainment. TV, movies, music, games. This is a massive part of the e-business economy, right? And incredibly competitive.
Oh, it's huge. And fiercely competitive, constantly evolving. Let's start with TV and movies, home entertainment. This is ground zero for the streaming wars.
So many acronyms here. SVOD, OTT. Can you break those down quickly?
Sure. SVOD is subscription video on demand. Think Netflix, Hulu, Disney+. Pay a monthly fee, watch whatever you want from their library. The buffet model.
Got it. OTT.
OTT is over the top. Services that deliver video over the internet, bypassing traditional cable or satellite. Think YouTube TV, Sling TV, Fubo, cord-cutting options.
Okay. And buying versus renting.
Buying a digital copy to keep is EST, electronic sell-through, like buying a movie on Amazon Prime Video. Renting it for a short time is iVOD, internet video on demand, like renting from Google Play. Each model targets a different need.
Even for the giants like Netflix, it seems like a tough game now. So much competition. What are their biggest challenges?
It's incredibly challenging. The biggest headache. Sky high and rising content costs. Creating original shows and movies is massively expensive, and it's a huge risk. Hit shows cost hundreds of millions.
And everyone wants the next big hit.
Exactly. There are bidding wars for popular books, comics, top directors, actors, plus the competition is intense. Not just other streamers, but tech giants with deep pockets. Amazon, Apple, Google, and traditional studios like Disney and HBO leveraging their huge libraries.
So the tech itself isn't the advantage anymore.
Not really. Streaming technology is pretty widespread now. The barrier to entry isn't the tech, it's the cost of compelling content and marketing it effectively. Differentiation comes down to having stuff people must see.
How has a leader like Netflix adjusted to this new reality?
They've had to make some major shifts. Price increases, obviously. Introducing advertising-supported tiers to offer a lower price point, partnering with Microsoft for the ad tech needed, and even reining in their famously lavish content spending, trying to be more cost-effective. It's about finding a sustainable path.
What are consumers saying? Are they happy with streaming value, or is that subscription fatigue biting hard here too?
The fatigue is definitely biting. Deloitte's research shows this tension. While most people use SVOD frequently, 53%, a growing number, 41%, feel the content isn't worth the price anymore. That's up 5 points in a year.
And they feel they pay too much.
Yeah, 47% feel they pay too much. The average cost for about 4 services hit $69 a month, up 13% in a year. That leads directly to high churn.
People canceling.
Constantly. 39% canceled at least one service in the last 6 months. And again, over 50% for Gen Z and millennials. They're actively managing costs, signing up for a month to binge a show, then canceling. It's a revolving door.
No Wimbo ad-supported tiers are taking off then. A way to keep people in the ecosystem at a lower cost.
Exactly. 54% of SVOD subscribers now use an ad-supported tier, typically around $9 a month. It clearly meets a need for affordability. But even there, users get frustrated quickly by too many repetitive ads. It's a balancing act.
And you mentioned social platforms competing here too. How are TikTok and YouTube threats to Netflix?
It's a different kind of threat, but a huge one. These hyperscale, hypercapitalized platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, are dominating attention. They capture over half of U.S. ad spending now. Their ad tech is incredibly sophisticated, fueled by AI, great at hyper-targeting and keeping users engaged. Often, the recommendation algorithms for short videos are better than SVOD recommendations for shows. They're competing for eyeballs and ad dollars, fundamentally changing the landscape for traditional studios.
Okay, shifting from video to audio, music and podcasts. Music went through its own digital revolution first, right?
It absolutely did. From physical CDs to paid digital downloads like iTunes, then the fundamental shift to streaming with Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, that really changed the game from ownership to access. Subscription revenue is now dominant.
And there was legislation to help artists get paid in this new world.
Yes, the Music Modernization Act was important. It helped ensure artists get royalties for older songs, pre-1972, played on digital services, and tried to streamline how royalties are collected overall, addressing fairness for creators in the streaming era.
What about podcasts? That feels like it exploded out of nowhere. What are the big trends there?
Exploded is right. It's massive now. Some key trends for 2025 and beyond. Educational content is booming. People are tuning in to learn. 88% listen specifically to gain knowledge. Shows blending education and entertainment, like Freakonomics Radio, are huge.
Using podcasts to learn. Interesting. What about AI? Is it creeping into podcasts?
It is, and faster than you might think. About 25% of creators already use AI tools, and 58% are open to trying it. Listeners are surprisingly okay with it, especially if it improves production quality, better sound, captions, transcripts. 80% support AI for improving sound quality alone.
So AI for behind-the-scenes stuff is welcome.
Seems like it as long as it enhances the experience. Then there's marketing. Short clips are key. Podcasters are repurposing bits for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels to drive discovery. 30-60 seconds seems to be the sweet spot.
And can creators actually make a living from podcasts now? Is the money getting serious?
It's getting much more serious. Projected revenue is hitting $4 billion. Major brands are investing heavily in ads because podcast listeners are often highly engaged in specific demographics.
Beyond ads.
Oh, yeah. Live podcasting is growing. People will pay to attend live recordings. Podcast swaps, where creators guest on each other's shows, boost audiences. And video podcasts are increasingly popular.
Radio podcasts. Why?
Listeners seem to like seeing the hosts' interactions, facial expressions. 51% say it's a key factor. It helps maintain focus for some, 50%. And about 32% actually prefer video podcasts now over audio only. It adds another dimension.
Fascinating. Okay, last entertainment category, games. Another giant industry transformed by digital, right?
Completely transformed. Digital distribution is totally dominant now. Something like 94% of all game spending is digital. Forget buying boxes in stores for the most part.
What are the big benefits of digital for gamers?
Instant access, obviously. Huge libraries at your fingertips. No physical clutter. And account systems mean you can often access your games across different devices. Super convenient. There are definitely concerns. Ownership is a big one. You're usually buying a license to play, not the actual game file forever. Preservation is an issue. What happens if a digital storefront closes down? Games could just vanish. And you can't resell digital games like you could old cartridges or discs. Plus, the risk of online services shutting down.
What's next for digital games?
We're seeing more regulatory scrutiny over potential monopolies. more competition, a big push for cross-platform play and purchases, and a huge rise in in-game advertising, which could hit 40% of revenue soon, often bypassing the platform fees charged by Sony, Microsoft, or Apple.
And Roblox. The case study highlights that it's more than just games.
Exactly. Roblox calls itself an immersive human experience platform. It's a massive space for creators, especially user-generated content. It's got a fast-growing 18-24-year-old demographic. It shows how a platform can become an entire ecosystem driven by content, community, and tech.
So across all these entertainment sectors, video, audio, games, the platform itself, the hardware and software is just incredibly strategic.
Absolutely critical. This whole section really underscores that knowledge outcome, evaluating different hardware and software e-business platforms. Success in e-business here depends heavily on understanding the platform, its ecosystem, its limitations, its opportunities. You have to select the right solutions for your specific business problem.
All right, let's talk about the creators themselves. The internet didn't just change big media. It let individuals become their own media companies. This creator economy.
Yeah.
What does it mean for making money online, and how are these individuals actually building businesses?
It's a fundamental shift. Content creation went from hobby to career for millions. We're talking over 50 million global creators, maybe 2 million doing it full-time. That's a huge e-business model in itself.
Driven by platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Exactly. Those platforms provide the tools, the distribution, the audience access. For you studying e-business, this is a whole new category of entrepreneurship to understand, directly tied to analyzing e-commerce business models.
50 million creators.
Fine.
But how do they actually earn a living? It can't just be ad clicks for most of them, right?
Yeah.
Surely sustainability requires more.
Oh, definitely not just ad clicks. The successful ones use a really diverse mix of monetization strategies. Let's start with ad revenue models, because that's often the entry point.
Okay. CPC, CPM, cost per click, cost per 1,000 views.
Right. On YouTube, maybe you earn a cent or two per ad view, so $3–5 per 1,000 views overall. But the key insight is that CPM rates vary wildly.
Based on what?
Based on your content niche and your audience demographics. Someone reviewing high-end tech or giving financial advice might get 24 TPM, while a general entertainment channel gets maybe $4. Advertisers pay way more to reach specific valuable audiences.
So quality of audience over sheer quantity sometimes.
Often, yes, for maximizing ad revenue. It's accessible, low barrier to entry via things like the YouTube Partner Program, but income is volatile. Algorithms change, ad blockers exist. Relying only on ads is risky for most.
Who does well with ads? Usually combined with other things.
Think Dude Perfect, huge views, but they layer in sponsorships, merchandise. Ryan Kaji with kids content. Marks Brownlee, MKBHD. In tech, his niche commands high CPMs, showing how specialization pays. It's a strategic play.
What about working directly with brands? Sponsorships seem huge, but how do creators do that without selling out or losing trust? That authenticity seems key.
Authenticity is everything for sponsorships and brand collaborations. This is often more stable and lucrative than ads. Creators promote product services, leveraging their influence with a targeted audience.
But it has to feel right.
Absolutely. The biggest pitfall is promoting something that doesn't align with your brand or audience. It looks fake, and you lose trust instantly. That's why careful vetting of brands is crucial. This is influencer marketing. Instagram's huge, TikTok's growing fast. It was a $21 billion market globally in 2023.
And niche influencers are particularly valuable.
Very valuable. If you're a brand selling, say, fitness gear, partnering with a trusted fitness influencer gives you direct access to engage potential customers. Eye engagement proves effectiveness. Think Kayla It Signs in fitness, MKBHD with tech brands like Google or Samsung, Rosanna Pansino weaving KitchenAid into her baking videos. Done well, it feels natural.
I also see a lot of creators selling their own stuff, t-shirts, mugs, even courses. Merch seems like a big direct revenue stream.
It is. Merchandising and product sales are a powerful e-commerce extension of the creator's brand. Selling physical goods like apparel or digital products like photo presets, ebooks, online courses.
And platforms help with this.
Yeah, e-commerce integration is getting slicker. YouTube has the merch shelf under videos. Instagram has shoppable posts. It makes buying easy. In-app social commerce is exploding, projected to hit $145 billion by 2028. Emma Chamberlain with her coffee brand, David Dobrik's apparel. They build lifestyle brands.
And finally, people paying creators directly. Subscriptions, memberships. That feels like the ultimate connection.
It really is. Subscription models and membership platforms like Patreon, OnlyFans for various types of content, Substack for newsletters. They've revolutionized direct support.
Benefits for the trader?
Huge benefits. Direct, predictable income, more creative control, less reliance on ads or algorithms, a closer relationship with your most loyal fans. Stability. You can experiment with niche stuff that advertisers might not touch.
Examples.
Amanda Palmer using Patreon to fund her music and art directly from fans. Political historian Heather Cox Richardson's massively successful Substack newsletter. They build real communities.
Challenges, though. Keeping people subscribed.
Absolutely. You have to consistently deliver value to prevent churn. And you need to carefully balance free content to attract new people versus paid content for your supporters. Content fatigue is real for creators, too.
So the big message for creators seems to be, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify.
That's the critical takeaway. Multi-stream revenue generation is essential for long-term survival and resilience, combining ads, sponsorships, merch, subscriptions. It provides stability against market swings or platform policy changes. Over 90% of creators use multiple streams.
And for our students.
For you, this directly applies to selecting appropriate e-commerce business models, analyzing their components, developing marketing strategies, crafting media content strategies. It's about building a robust, adaptable e-business, whether you're a creator yourself or working with them.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's zoom out again to the companies. We've got content, platforms, creators. But someone has to manage all this chaos. What does it take to lead a media company now in this converged, fast-changing world?
Yeah, the management side is undergoing a seismic shift too. Convergence, automation, standardization demands, constant disruption, audience fragmentation. All these forces are fundamentally changing how media companies need to be run. It directly challenges the traditional operational perspective.
So the classic management skills, planning, organizing, leading, they still matter, but the context makes them way harder.
Exactly. Those 6 fundamentals, planning, organization, leadership, staff management, control, communication, are still the bedrock. But applying them in media is unique. Why? Because you're often managing highly creative, sometimes unpredictable talent.
How does that change things?
Well, planning is tough when a news cycle is 24 hours or a viral trend dictates strategy overnight. Leading creative people often requires more inspiration and empathy than top-down command. Staff management involves diverse skills, often freelancers or temporary teams, making traditional control difficult. Communication has to be constant and crystal clear.
What are the absolute must-have skills for managers in this space today?
Herrick highlights 3 non-negotiables. First, meticulous cash flow management. Margins can be thin, revenue streams volatile. Second, brilliant people management. Attracting, motivating, retaining creative talent is paramount. Third, ruthless time management, because the pace is just relentless.
And tech skills.
Absolutely critical. There's an intense need for continuous training and new technologies, and everyone, managers included, needs a broad multimedia perspective. You have to understand how content flows across platforms, how revenue streams connect, no more silos.
Can you contrast the old way of media management with the new reality? It sounds like night and day.
It really is. Faustino and Noam paint a clear picture. Traditional management often saw media as cultural products, delivered via monomedia, print or broadcast, lower tech needs, distinct industry barriers. Focus might be purely journalistic or artistic. Contemporary management sees media as economic products needing profit, inherently multimedia, high-tech dependent, operating across large portfolios with blurry boundaries. Content is often reusable. Management needs both artistic journalistic integrity and sharp marketing business acumen. Knowledge needs are vast, and you have to navigate all the complex legal, ethical, social, political issues raised by e-commerce in this environment.
Wow. So what are the big shared headaches that all media firms, old and new, are dealing with now?
They face a common set of intense challenges: constant pressure to create new products, ongoing innovation in production, promotion, distribution. Revenue diversification is critical, moving beyond single sources. Reorganizing work for flexibility and digital workflows. Consistent brand management across platforms. Huge tech investment. Finding cooperative partnerships. Cost reduction without sacrificing quality. Mastering multi-platform content. Continuous training, driving deep audience engagement, and finding productive synergies, like integrating advertising more seamlessly.
That's a lot.
It is, and for you, the student, understanding these shared challenges is vital for analyzing the operating environment of any media e-business. It gives you context for applying models, strategies, and thinking about security issues, because data and IP are always at risk in this interconnected world.
Okay, final big strategic question. Social platforms are dominating attention. What's the actual playbook for traditional studios, the Hollywood giants, to compete and stay relevant? It can't just be making good movies anymore, right?
No, it really can't. That's what Deloitte calls the deeper challenge. These traditional studios are up against hyperscale and hypercapitalized competitors. Google, Meta, Amazon, with near infinite resources and incredible advanced tech.
So the old models are broken.
Their business models, built for a TV and film world that's decades old, need a fundamental reset. It's way more than just starting a TikTok channel. It's a full strategic and operational overhaul.
So what should they actually do? What are the recommendations?
Okay, here are the key strategic moves Deloitte suggests. First, invest heavily in ad tech and AI. They need to deliver targeted, effective ads like the social platforms do. This might mean building it themselves or forming critical partnerships. It ties directly into effective e-business marketing strategies.
Makes sense. Compete on the ad front. What else?
Second, aggregate larger audiences. They need scale to compete for ad dollars. That could mean mergers, acquisitions, or clever partnerships to create bigger, targetable audiences.
Get bigger to fight bigger?
Yeah. Third, adopt technology much faster and deeper. Use things like virtual production to cut costs. Leverage AI for tasks like dubbing, translation, even script analysis or location scouting. Automate operations. Modernize everything.
So become more like tech companies operationally.
In many ways, yes. Fourth, and this is huge, market primarily on social platforms. Social media is now the main place people discover shows and movies. 56% of younger viewers watch stuff after hearing about it from online creators. Marketing has to live there.
Embrace the platforms they might see as competitors.
They have to. Fifth, use short-form content strategically. Don't be afraid it devalues the brand. Use creative shorts on social to generate buzz, give glimpses, and drive viewers to the main movie or show. It's a funnel.
And finally
and crucially, engage deeply with social content creators. They're incredibly influential. Studios need to collaborate with them authentically, bring them into the marketing process. They can be powerful advocates and drivers of virality.
that really is a total mindset shift, isn't it? Moving beyond the old definitions of TV and film.
It absolutely is. That's the core of the deeper challenge. Traditional studios are built around concepts that younger generations might not even recognize. As Deloitte jokes, if you ask a teenager about the future of TV, they might just say, "What's TV?"
Wow.
So for you as a student, these insights are gold for developing professional e-business proposals. They show you how to tackle real-world problems in media by understanding this evolving landscape and proposing tech-savvy solutions that actually connect with modern audiences. It's about building for the future, not clinging to the past.
Fantastic. That brings us full circle. Let's try and wrap this up.
Okay. So today, we've really dug deep into this dynamic world of online content and media. We saw how convergence tech, content, industry has just reshaped everything.
Yeah, the blurring lines.
Exactly. We explored the different ways businesses try to make money, subscriptions, ads, a la carte, and the rise of that massive creator economy with its multi-stream approach.
And the challenges for managers, old and new.
Right. The critical skills needed, the strategic shifts required, especially for traditional players trying to compete in this social-first world. It's a whole new game.
It really hammers home that the digital economy isn't random. It's engineered.
Yeah.
Every platform, every revenue model, every piece of content, it's part of a complex system designed to grab attention and deliver value in this constantly shifting landscape.
Well put. The old rules are definitely out the window.
So as you continue figuring out e-business, remember, the future really belongs to those who get these complex systems, who can see the connections, and engineer their own way forward. Hey, if this deep dive helped you connect some dots, please do like, subscribe, maybe share it with someone else who'd find it useful. And don't forget those extra resources in the description.
Definitely check those out. So, the final thought, the question for you as future leaders, future innovators, is this. How will you take these insights about online content, about media convergence, about creator power, and use them to engineer the next successful e-businesses? Where will the attention shift next? How will value be created and captured?
Lots to think about.
Absolutely, because every transaction, every connection, every single innovation, it all starts with someone who understands the system behind the screen. Until next time, stay curious, stay strategic, and keep turning complexity into opportunity.